Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Es tu favorito persona, Brad. Estoy aquí in Costa Rica in a nice little hammock. So Barb thought it'd be a good idea if she met me and we had a little R&R, tranquilo vacation in a nice little resort that looks like it's straight out of Jurassic Park. So yeah, let's get into it. Actually, hold on one sec. Okay, ready. I thought it'd be best to change from my sexy robe because you wouldn't take me seriously as I talked about daily mindfulness and growth from, the tranquil robe I had on. But yeah, let's get into it. As you can see, this is where today's mindfulness session took place. It's been an awesome 2 days, I think, just connecting with Mom and just sitting back and relaxing. And so I've been traveling now for 11 months, and one of the most common and frequent questions that people ask me is, okay, essentially 3 months in, what have you learned? What's your kind of biggest takeaways from this growth trip and what you've been trying to accomplish, right, in all this solo travel? And it's definitely something that you have to contemplate and think about and look within yourself and just spend a lot of time reflecting, right? Because growth is long term. It's not something where you're gonna see results day in and day out unless you're very meticulous and you're actually working very hard to transcribe and document what are the ways that you're growing. Especially when I've taken myself out of day-to-day routines and travel for the most part. So in that regard, it is difficult for me myself to kind of think about how I'm growing. But it's even more difficult, I think, for you in your routines because there's not much that changes from our Monday to Friday, and we have variables during the week, but it's mostly the weekends. And it's very hard for us to look back in our lives on kind of what we've done to recount, how have you spent it's already June, how have you spent the first half of 2018, right? It's going to be much harder for you. You're going to have to rely on tools like social media and such. But I guess the whole point of this is we don't spend a lot of time in this regard. One of the best things that's happened to me actually, and as odd as it to say, is when my iPhone got stolen in Colombia. I was addicted to my phone. I used it way too much all the time. I now was disconnected. So this ties in nicely into number 2. I think my biggest takeaway from travel is a lot of things that we concern ourselves in our lives, in our day-to-day, just aren't important. And what I mean by that is when you're in your life, there's a lot of reasons that you don't do stuff, whether it's family tells you not to, friends, social pressures. There's 100 reasons why we're not culpable for our own growth and progress, and why we can turn to instant gratification at time. But it's when you divest yourself and extricate yourself from all that, the only distractions that you're going to have are going to be like right in here. So no more bullshitting. When I lost my phone, there was nothing for me to turn to distract myself other than myself. So I guess to better summarize this takeaway is when we're kind of caught in our own rat race and our own habits, rituals, and our day-to-day activities, there's so many things that weigh down on your conscious mind that just are unimportant. And it's not until you can holistically take a macro view of your life that you can look at these things and realize that they're just insignificant in your own development. And that was something that whether it was personally or family pressures and thoughts, friends, social groups, work, whatever our circles, we're in so many different circles, and not just literal group chats, we're in literal different groups in our lives, and all of these have different impressions of ourselves, but the only one that matters is your own impression of yourself, and that's the only one that you can change. So that's the one that you should be fixated with the most. And that's kind of been my biggest takeaway on travel is it's just started to rain here. Is I'm out here traveling by myself, for myself, first and foremost, and the takeaways and everything that come from that may not be evident to other people, but that's not why I'm here. You know, this is first, foremost, and lastly a growth trip for me, right? And that's all I can influence, and that's kind of what I've realized is do things that matter to you in life, because that's the only way you're going to be happy. So hopefully a lot of this kind of makes sense and resonates maybe with you guys and gals. Hit me back and share your thoughts on all this. I've been kind of isolated to my own thoughts for the last 3 months, and have had to kind of ponder on this, as I had friends visit me recently, and being with my mom this week, a lot of the focus is on, so what have you learned? And I hope I explained clearly what I did learn. Wow, here comes the rain now. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. Please reach out with your own thoughts, because you know, maybe you are too busy in your own lives, but I have time to think about stuff. So if you have questions or things you kind of want me to ponder and get back to you with, please shoot them out. Happy to share my experiences so far, and would love to just hear what y'all are thinking. All right, one love. Enjoy the rain. By the way, there is a volcano over there, but it's so cloudy here we can't even see it. This really is Jurassic Park.